Clan Morgan, who are they, and what connection do they have with Clan Mackay? Also, how did this become the Clan Mackay Blue or Morgan Tartan? That's what we're going to talk about today. Welcome back, Clan Mackay and friends. Today we're going to talk about the Mackay Blue Tartan, or the Morgan Tartan as it's known by many distributors of the tartan. In order to understand the Morgans or the Mackays, the reason why we're going to be talking about Morgan is because by many this tartan is referred to as the Morgan Tartan, and for good reason, because as it was registered in the Scottish Register of Tartans, it shows up as Mackay or Morgan. To understand the Morgan side, we're going to turn to the Book of Mackay, written by Angus Mackay in the early 1900s. We'll go to page 12, bottom-ish half of the page 12. Angus Mackay writes that the Clan Mackay was once called Clan Morgan, has never been disputed by competent authorities. He also goes on to say that in the Gaelic Etymological Dictionary, it states that Morgan basically means sea bright, or comes from the ancient Gaelic sea bright, which may have a reference to the fact that a people by the name of Morgan resided in the Moray Buchan region of Scotland. So, page 14, Angus Mackay then says that we also found that the Clan Morgan was located in these northeastern parts about this time, that is Toshiach, or chief, acted in his official capacity along with the Moor Mayor of Buchan, and that the name Morgan in Scotland was peculiar to Moray and Buchan, but reappeared in Sutherland at a later period. So he then states, the question we have now to face is, how did the Clan Morgan, of whom we got a glimpse in the northeast of Scotland about 1133, reappear afterwards in distant Strathnaver, and there continue to be known by exactly the same title? We won't go into detail about how the Morgans immigrated into Strathnaver, or the myth behind the Morgans moving into Strathnaver, but we will discuss a little bit about the tartan that's been associated with the Morgan or the Mackay Blue. We will go into the Morgan-Mackay relationship later in another video, but for today's purposes, we're just talking about the tartan. In the Scottish Register of Tartans, it says, often called the Blue Mackay or Morgan. The design comes from the Vestiarium Scoticum 1842. The authors, the Sobieski Stewart brothers, enjoyed a popular following among Scottish gentry in the early Victorian era. In the spirit of the times, added mystery, romance, and some spurious historical documentation to the subject of tartan. Of the better-known tartans, the book offers some minor variation, but in other cases, it provides the only recorded version of many tartans in use today. For example, the Mackay Blue or Morgan Tartan. Now, why is it called the Morgan Tartan, right? On page 67 of the Vestiarium Scoticum in the content section, it refers to the tartan as Mackay or Clan Morgan. The reason I think it's probably saying that is because Morgan is the ancient name for the Clan Mackay, and as the Sobieski Stewart brothers were trying to make this a ancient tartan, trying to sell it as an ancient tartan, they used the ancient name of the Mackays to kind of, further their case. But on page 88, it says just Clan Morgan. So in the content section, it refers to it as the Mackay or Clan Morgan, but then on page 88, when it gives the set, it says just Clan Morgan. And this is what it says. It hath 4 stripes of black upon a blue field, and the middle of the blue set a stripe of red. So as you can see here, this is the blue field with the 4 stripes of black, and you see the red on in the middle of the blue field as an example. The Scottish Register of Tartan gives thread counts for this, it says there are red 8, blue 64, black 24, blue 8, black 24, blue 8, black 24, blue 8, black 24, blue 64, and then red 8. Now, is this an authentic ancient tartan, right? Is this, as it was claimed in the Vestiarium Scoticum, at least a tartan registered in the 1500s, right? Because that's what the manuscripts claimed. Most likely not. Walter Scott himself, when the book came out, or when the manuscripts were being shown around in an effort to create the Vestiarium Scoticum in 1842, Sir Walter Scott thought that it was a forgery, just due to his own understanding of Gallic culture and tartans in use. He claimed that the Highlands never really had clan tartans or never really did have clan tartans. That was more of a kilt manufacturers and the military that kind of made that, I guess, identity come about. It also, in a more modern academic work, Scotland's Forged Tartans by David C. Stewart and J. Charles Thompson, they go into greater depth of why they believe the tartans in the Vestiarium Scoticum it was forged. And I would just have to say that obviously it's fun, right? It's fun to have additional tartans, and it's fun to kind of romanticize about the past. But from most people's perspective, and it's almost a foregone conclusion, that the Vestiarium Scoticum is not authentic, not entirely authentic. Where they got the sets is another mystery. We don't exactly know how they compiled those sets, but we do not claim that they are actual ancient clan tartans. Okay, so now that we've discussed the Clan Morgan, how they're connected to the Mackays, or that they are the Mackays, and also talked about the set and how the tartan was established or created, let's go ahead and look at some of the details on how it might have been made. This is how I keep the threads in their individual sections. They don't clump up with each other. I made that board by myself by just hammering nails into it to separate them. Right here, this is me using a homemade Carnival Cruise card from my wife that I cut up so I can pull 2 threads per slot in order to use that as the beading board for the loom. What's interesting is the tightness of the threads depends greatly on how many threads per shaft you actually put through the beading board. So I'd like to show you a different style of tying the warp to the actual receiving end of the loom. So this time we're going to try tying a knot at the end of these threads, and I'm just going to take little clumps here and there, and I'm going to tie knots at the end. And then once I've tied those knots, I'll show you how we're going to wrap up the warp. So using a thread, I pass them through the middle of those knots and connect them onto the rod. This right here obviously is a demonstration of what it would look like over about 30 minutes of weaving. Once I've woven the portion that I'm satisfied with, I then cut it off of one end of the loom and pull it out the other side. And this is what the end product looks like. Thank you very much for watching today's video. Please like and subscribe so you can stay up to date on all of our future content. For all the Mackays out there, we encourage you to apply and become members of the Clan Mackay Society Scotland. That way to increase the clan to the once powerful clan that it used to be. Also, if you are interested in providing a donation to the Clan Mackay Society Scotland, I will put a link in the description. If you know anyone with these last names, or anyone who is generally interested in Mackay history or Scottish history in general, please share this video with them so that we can spread the word around the world. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.